what your Zodiac says about your first impression. Hey there, viewers! Do you know that your rising sign determines what people's first impression of you will be? In today's video, we will be looking at all the Zodiac rising signs and seeing how each one describes the first impression people usually have on you. Has anyone who just met you for the first time ever described you and totally got your personality wrong? Say, the person tells you you're such an outgoing fellow, yet deep down you know you're a colossal introvert? Well, it could be your rising sign at work. A rising sign is that zodiac sign that was rising from the east at the moment of your birth. Believe it or not, this rising sign determines the first impression that other people have on you. And while it does not describe your personality accurately, it does leave a strong impression on the people who might be meeting you for the first time. So, have you got a clue what your ascendant sign is? And do you know what it says about your first impression? Well, we're going to help you find out. Aries. If your ascendant sign is Aries, then you are likely to always leave an impression that makes people think you're dynamic. Aries ascendants are considered pioneering and natural leaders. They appear to have no problem leading from the front. They wouldn't cower at taking charge or giving instructions. It doesn't matter if you're quiet, laid back, and easygoing person. If you're an Aries ascendant, that's just how people perceive you. A good example of an Aries ascendant is the god of thunder who hails from Asgard, Thor. Well, in the MCU movies, and maybe not in the comics, he definitely comes across as an Aries ascendant. He looks like someone who really should be a leader in Avengers, but that responsibility falls in the hands of Captain and Tony Stark. You might think it's a great compliment to be thought of as being a natural, pioneering, and dynamic leader, even though deep down, you know you're not. But there are also downsides to being an Aries ascendant. For instance, you might be considered to be somewhat overwhelming or at least a tad intimidating. But don't worry, this impression eventually disappears as people get to know you better. Aquarius. Aquarius ascendants are considered eclectic. Although they appear to have somewhat rebellious streak, there's still something appealing about them because of their apparent intelligence and wit. This appeal does not last long though. With time, people start to see through the smoke screens. Aquarian ascendants are full of attractive ideas and like to put on a show when giving these ideas. They're also friendly and kind. These traits help them a lot within their social circles. One of the most well-known Aquarius ascendants is Nikola Tesla. Many astrologers have described him as being a notable Aquarius ascendant. Cancer. The primary trait of Cancer ascendants is that they're seen as compassionate. These folks appear to be very kind and caring, the kind of people who really care about people and genuinely love them. These characteristics are related to the Cancer moon and sun signs as well. Whatever your dominant zodiac sign may be, being a Cancer ascendant will showcase that emotional and compassionate side of you. I guess this is a really cool ascendant to be, especially as it helps people to warm up to you nicely. Capricorn. Capricorn ascendants come across as being really determined. They are goal-oriented individuals with a drive that seems to be infectious. It appears that they have a firm focus on their lives and are not at a loss of where they are and what they're looking to achieve. People generally will perceive Capricorn ascendants as very serious-minded individuals. Now, if you're in a school setting or even at your workplace, this perception can really benefit you in many ways. Who doesn't want to be considered a serious goal-getter? That first impression might just last long enough to make your promotions easier and your rise to the top even faster. However, things might be different on the social front. People might think of you as being too serious rather than being a fun-loving, jovial, and outgoing person. You'll be thought of as the dull jack who's all work and no play. In fact, this impression could be so strong that people may not even get you when you crack a joke. As far as they know, they've never imagined you crack a joke, let alone watch it happen in real life. The life of a Capricorn ascendant is that of one who's often misunderstood at the first encounter. But of course, with time, people around you will get to see your true personality. Gemini. Gemini ascendants are mischievous, or at least that's what people think about them. But really, these guys usually have an air of intellectualism about them. When you see them, you would think that they're very deep people who are into philosophy and science. Meanwhile, in reality, you might just be a private person who really loves staying indoors. But if Gemini is your rising sign, that's not what people will see in you. You are that person whom people can't really tell what you're thinking. It appears you can see through people and the acts that they try to put up. Oh well, if only they knew it was just your rising sign at work. One great thing about the Gemini ascendant is that people naturally think you're smart without having to put much effort in showing it. Leo. Leo ascendants give an impression of being charismatic. They appear to carry themselves with so much grace and poise, it's as if they wanted to be noticed, and they will milk every bit of attention they can get. Leo ascendants are the folks that turn heads when they enter a room. People zone out of their small talk just to take a look. They seem to command attention just by their sheer presence. When Leo ascendants speak, everyone listens. It appears that everything they say is nothing but words of wisdom. They have little problems giving people advice or having people follow the suggestions that they give. And even if, as a Leo descendant, you don't feel like a leader or someone who's in control, people observing you will always beg to defer. In fact, many of them will look up to you as a trendsetter. But for all the charisma Leo ascendants have, they're also perceived to be a bit too dramatic at times. From what we've described about Leo descendants, you can totally understand why people will feel that way. Libra. Libra ascendants are charming individuals. They may not have good looks, but they exude a sense of appeal that makes them irresistible. It's just their charm. One look at them and people find themselves doing their bidding just because they're likable. This attribute could be pretty invaluable when it comes to resolving conflicts. With your charm, people are more likely to listen to you and let bygones be bygones. You'll be able to avoid all types of chaos and confrontations because people aren't eager to step on your toes. The downside to being a Libra ascendant, however, is that people will sometimes think of you as being too liberal. Also, the fact that you appear to avoid confrontations may be perceived as a character weakness. Don't be surprised if some people try to exploit this perceived weakness. Pisces. Pisces ascendants are thought to be enigmatic. Ruled by Neptune, this zodiac sign is the oldest of all the signs. As a Pisces ascendant, you will be described by many as being an old soul. You'd come across as being very emotional and compassionate. Then, there's also a perceived side to you that seems to be philosophical. As they're considered to be philosophical beings, Pisces ascendants appear to hold on to an ideological point of view on various matters. As such, many of their views are thought to be impractical and unrealistic. People around you will think of you as someone who thinks very deeply and someone who easily gets lost in their own thoughts. Sagittarius. Sagittarius ascendants seem to have a free-spirited attitude about them. It doesn't matter what your dominant zodiac sign may be. You could be an introvert or a very guarded person, but people will still think of you as a free-spirited fellow. Sagittarius ascendants are perceived to be quite outspoken and very outgoing. They seem to love to interact with people, and they're not afraid to hear their opinions whenever they feel like. Their friendly disposition makes them likable and seems to draw people to them. They seem like people who love adventurous activities, and if you love traveling as a Sagittarian, this will be interpreted as being part of your personality. In pop culture, characters like Indiana Jones, Tintin, and Lara Croft are excellent examples of Sagittarius ascendants. Scorpio. When you think of Scorpio, you think of sexual attraction, rebirth, and death. These are traits most closely associated with this zodiac sign. If you are a Scorpio ascendant, you will be viewed by people as being really sexy. As a Scorpio, you'll be an object of attraction. Without even trying, you'll naturally draw people to yourself. People will consider you simply gorgeous, and more than anything, they'll love to hang around you. With this sexual attraction will come a perception of you as being powerful in a calm and subtle way. It would appear that you're able to have a way with words, and that you're able to manipulate people to do your bidding. Well, people will think this about you until they're able to really get to know you better. Nevertheless, your ability to draw people may be an advantage to you, as it could help you become a people person, which will help you to expand your social network. Taurus. Taurus is the goddess of love. She gives off a gorgeous appeal, and this is reflected in Taurus ascendants. If you have a Taurus as your rising sign, you'll be seen by others as being very beautiful and super attractive. You're the type who will turn heads in crowds and make people take a second glance. I'm sure many people will love to be Taurus ascendants, but hold on a bit, there's another side to the impression that they give off. People also view Taurus ascendants as being a bit stubborn at times. It's sad that this is the case because it's all down to their rising sign. Apart from being seen as stubborn, they could also be perceived as being arrogant. Thankfully, these wrong impressions easily wear off as people get to know you personally and get to find out your lovely personality. Virgo. The first impression that Virgo ascendants give off could best be described as poised. These ascendants are perceived to be very analytical and resourceful individuals. You can trust them to fix any problems you might be facing, although it has to be their area of expertise. Virgo ascendants are considered to be highly reliable people, able to get the job done and deliver on time. It is great to be trusted and be counted on by people around you, but there is also another side to this impression that could affect your social life. People consider Virgo ascendants to be too analytical and therefore overcritical, and this pushes people away from them. Do any of these rising signs describe the first impression people usually have on you? Let us know in the comment section below. We would love to hear from you.
Comment down below your thoughts, give this a like, share with your friends, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and notification bell to keep you updated for more interesting facts, tips, and ideas from SmartVille.